Domain authority. Techniques to boost credibility in 2025. Your website is the silent SDR in 2025. In 2025, your website isn't a brochure. It's the part of your go-to-market that works every minute you're not in a call. When buyers can self-educate instantly, credibility is often decided before your team ever gets a reply. That's why domain authority has become a pipeline lever, not just an SEO topic. Most B2B journeys now start with research, and roughly 93% of buying processes begin with an online search. On top of that, about 47% of buyers consume 3 to 5 pieces of content before they'll engage a rep, which means your domain has to prove expertise across multiple pages, not just a homepage and a pitch deck. Meanwhile, organic search remains the single biggest traffic driver at roughly 53% of trackable web traffic, and B2B revenue is heavily influenced by organic plus paid search combined. If your domain isn't visible and trusted where buyers research, your SDRs have to overcome skepticism that your competitors don't. Domain authority. The score isn't the goal. Trust is. Domain authority, DA, is a third-party score, most commonly Moz's 1 to 100 metric, designed to predict ranking potential based largely on link signals. Google doesn't use Moz's DA as a ranking factor, but DA-style metrics correlate with performance because they approximate the real inputs that do matter: links, brand signals, and overall trust. In practice, we treat DA/DR as directional benchmarks, useful for competitive context, dangerous as an objective. When teams chase the number, they often publish generic content or buy cheap backlinks that create volatility and long-term trust issues. The better approach is to focus on outcomes: non-branded visibility, qualified inbound conversations, and pipelines sourced from search. AI search hasn't replaced classic search, but it's changing discovery patterns and raising the bar for authority. The same fundamentals that improve your domain authority in the real world also increase your odds of being surfaced in AI experiences: clear topic depth, credible citations, and consistent mentions from trusted sites. How to benchmark authority like a revenue team. The fastest way to make domain authority actionable is to benchmark it against the 3 to 5 competitors you actually lose deals to. Pull DA/DR, referring domains, and non-branded organic traffic, then compare that to sales outcomes like demo requests, inbound SQLs, and pipelines sourced from organic. This turns SEO work into a competitive gap analysis your exec team can support. We also recommend setting one quarterly authority asset, a benchmark report, pricing guide, ROI model, or deep technical walkthrough, and building a promotion plan around it. When that asset becomes the center of both SEO and outbound follow-up, it earns links, improves conversion rates, and gives your outsourced sales team something genuinely helpful to send. To keep everyone aligned, put authority metrics and sales KPIs side by side in the same RevOps dashboard. When you can show that SEO-driven leads close around 14.6% versus roughly 1.7% for traditional outbound, the conversation shifts from rankings to sales efficiency. Build topic leadership content buyers actually use. Authority grows fastest when your site becomes the best answer to a tight set of buyer questions, not when you publish a high volume of generic posts. The common mistake we see is content written for personas that don't reflect how buying committees research. A better model is role-based and stage-based. Economic buyers want ROI and risk, technical evaluators want implementation clarity, and end users want workflows and proof. Operationally, we like a pillar and cluster approach that's built around real conversations. Have SDRs and AEs tag high-friction questions from calls every week, review them in a bi-weekly marketing stand-up, and commit to turning the best ones into authoritative pages. This is how a sales development agency can help marketing publish content that directly supports meetings, not just traffic. Then promote each authority asset like a campaign, not a blog post. When your cold email agency, your LinkedIn outreach services, and your website all reinforce the same narrative, backed by proof, buyers experience consistency, which is one of the strongest trust accelerators in B2B. Authority isn't earned by saying you're credible. It's earned when every touchpoint answers the buyer's next question better than anyone else. Earn backlinks the safe way. Relevance, editorial quality, consistency. Backlinks still function like public votes of trust, and the data remains blunt. A 2024 study found over 96% of sites in Google's top 10 have more than 1,000 plus referring domains. In other words, if you're competing in a mature B2B category, you rarely rank on authority keywords without a broad base of credible domains pointing to you. Another indicator is how tightly authority metrics track with visibility. One dataset found 91% of sites ranking in the top 3 have DA above 40 plus. That doesn't mean you should chase 40, but it does mean link equity is a leading indicator you can't ignore if rankings matter to revenue. The biggest mistake here is trying to hack authority with cheap links or link schemes. It's a short-term illusion that can create long-term volatility and trust damage. The safest approach in 2025 is still editorial. Publish data people cite, contribute genuinely useful thought leadership, collaborate with partners, and build link-worthy assets like benchmarks and case studies that industry publications actually want to reference. Fix trust signals on-site. Technical SEO meets buyer credibility. Even with great content and links, weak on-site trust signals can undercut perceived authority. Buyers judge credibility fast. Site speed, HTTPS, clear navigation, accurate metadata, and "this company is real" signals, team pages, address, support options, and detailed about pages. These aren't cosmetic. They reduce friction for both search engines and human evaluators. For B2B specifically, proof assets do heavy lifting. Case studies, testimonials, and review platform visibility help prospects validate you when they're in shortlist mode, especially if they prefer to research without a rep. When those assets are thin or buried, your cold callers and AEs end up spending time defending credibility instead of moving the deal forward. Make credibility scannable across the site. Include strong internal linking, updated author bios, where appropriate, transparent pricing context when possible, and pages that address implementation, security, and outcomes. This is where technical SEO and sales enablement overlap, because every page is either helping conversion or quietly leaking pipeline. Scale outbound without damaging domain reputation. Domain authority and deliverability are different systems, but they're tightly related in how buyers experience your brand. If your main corporate domain is hammered by high-volume, low-relevance outreach, you risk hurting inbox placement and creating a spammy brand impression that follows the buyer into Google. In 2025, that's especially risky when 61% of B2B buyers say they prefer a rep-free experience, and 73% actively avoid suppliers that send irrelevant outreach. The fix is not stop outbound. It's run it like a trust program. Use dedicated sending domains or subdomains for heavier cold email. Authenticate and warm them carefully, cap volume per inbox, and keep messaging tightly aligned with what prospects see when they click through. When cold calling services and email sequences point to genuinely helpful resources, not bait-and-switch pitch pages, your outbound sales agency efforts reinforce authority instead of eroding it. At SalesHive, we treat this as a coordinated system. List-building services that improve targeting, an SDR agency workflow that captures real market questions, and outbound that consistently routes prospects to the strongest credibility assets. That's how a B2B sales agency can support SEO, by creating high-quality conversations that generate demand, protect reputation, and convert curiosity into meetings. Turn authority into meetings. a practical 90-day and 12-month plan. The most expensive mistake teams make is keeping SEO and sales development in separate silos. Marketing ships content without a distribution engine, and SDRs run sequences without credible assets to share, so both teams underperform. The fastest path to compounding gains is joint planning. Decide targets, topics, and follow-up plays together. Then measure the impact on meetings booked and pipeline. Set expectations correctly. Authority moves slowly, often taking 6 to 12 months of consistent work to move meaningfully, and gains are harder as you climb. But you can see leading indicators sooner: more non-branded keywords ranking, improved engagement on key pages, and higher reply show rates when prospects validate you after outreach. That's why we recommend reporting authority metrics next to revenue metrics, so leadership can see cause and effect over multiple quarters. Looking ahead, AI search will keep growing, but it will still reward the same fundamentals: depth, trust, and third-party validation. If you want to be the obvious choice wherever buyers research, Google, review sites, or AI assistants, build topic leadership, earn real links, keep your technical foundation clean, and run outbound, whether in-house or via sales outsourcing, in a way that protects the brand you're working so hard to build.